this automobile, Reserve Lieutenant Colonel Lemuel Penn was killed by a shotgun blast while riding through Colbert, Georgia. Arrested for this crime were 4 Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. 2 Klansmen were tried and acquitted.
Hate groups in America have a deeply rooted history in our society. Our country's past was largely filled with fear, hate, and violence against the minority of our population. Yet the constant discussion still remains. How can we combat this whilst maintaining citizens' unalienable right to free speech? In recent years, Americans have seen a resurgence of more and more violent racism, anti-Semitism, white nationalism, and discrimination against immigrants. As a presidential candidate and president, it is their responsibility to represent and protect all American citizens, despite ethnicity or political beliefs. Free speech was officially recognized and adopted into the Bill of Rights in America on December 15, 1791. Since then, America has built a reputation as a land of activism and bountiful human rights.
I find that dissent is the great instrument of change. It's the instrument of progress. And that's what really distinguishes a free society from the totalitarian societies. We change those things by reason of the dissent that are wrong. We aren't frozen into them. On the other hand, when we look at dissent, we have to recognize that it can also be an instrument of destruction if it does not follow a certain rule.
We can't force people, to be nice all the time. That's just the reality. We can't force people to be nice and to be kind. The First Amendment's going to protect even ugly and, what some people may deem hateful speech.
What's important about free speech is that it doesn't turn into a hate crime. I think when the safety of others should come before freedom of speech. And I know that's a bold statement, but I don't think that my right to say whatever I want to should be where you are assaulted or incites other crimes for others to get assaulted.
In recent years, though, there has been a significant rise in violent hate groups and crimes. There are now over 1,000 hate groups in America being officially recognized by the Southern Poverty Law Center. In 2017, there was the infamous attack in Charlottesville, Virginia, where white nationalists and neo-Nazis marched through the streets, clashing with counter-protesters, resulting in 3 deaths and 35 injuries. In 2018, Robert Bowers shot down 11 Jewish worshippers at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the worst killing of American Jews in this country's history. While he lay on his hospital bed, Bowers claimed that he, quote, wanted all Jews to die, end quote.
Hate is first a human condition that always has existed, and unfortunately most likely will continue to exist throughout history. It sort of ebbs and flows, maybe like a virus. Sometimes it's suppressed, and then sometimes it's emboldened and comes out. They're targeting their specific identity as opposed to things that they're doing, things beyond a person's control. That's very harmful to an individual.
Despite the ultraviolet rhetoric of so many groups, many claim that by generalizing groups of certain political beliefs, the government is limiting their right to free speech.
They have very firm beliefs about what they think is right and wrong, and what they think is the right point of view and the wrong point of view. And for some people, it's so clear that their point of view is right that they have a hard time seeing someone else's point of view, that there are other points of view, that there are other perspectives, maybe that they need to hear.
And these people have to pause and think about what we're ultimately trying to change. Even if some of our hearts are filled with hatred, maybe it's because we haven't learned how to express ourselves the correct way, in a way that maybe they can understand.
Violent or not, these extremist groups are creating an environment where minorities feel unsafe in their own country. In many ways, we can see these events both dividing and uniting American communities. Assumptions and stereotypes are polarizing our society.
We have to unite or we're going to get divided. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of an idealist, but I think the alternative is more anger, more hate, and that never works.
In other ways, targeted communities are reaching out to other ethnic groups for support and unity. Despite violence and discrimination, American citizens choose to embrace their similarities rather than their differences.
So I would say that the first thing that a presidential candidate needs to do is to call for unity when there's a situation like that, and not try to demonize any one type of person.
It is the responsibility of the American government and its leaders to guide our country on the path towards unity. although we must maintain the rights which make our country the land of the free and a symbol of free human expression.